You stand at a crossroads. Something inside stirs, calling you forward, demanding to be seen. It is not coincidence that you are here. At this moment, the world often whispers for silence, for conformity, but the chosen ones hear a different voice, a voice that urges action, presence, mastery. I am Shi Hengye, and today you will learn how to channel that inner fire into the world, how to step into public spaces, not for applause, but as a living demonstration of discipline, courage, and energy. In this video, we will uncover ancient Shaolin teachings rarely spoken of outside the walls of the temples. You will discover how every movement, every breath carries the weight of intention, how stillness in the midst of chaos becomes the ultimate act of power. You will see why performing openly, fast, precise, and deliberate is not about showmanship, but about revealing mastery over fear, ego, and self-doubt. These lessons are not merely theoretical, they are tested paths, centuries old, forged through sweat, meditation, and relentless focus. We will dive into practices that sharpen the mind, strengthen the body, and awaken the energy that lies dormant within most people. You will understand the subtle forces that guide human presence, how to bend them without breaking, and how to become a living example of inner alignment in the eyes of others. Stay with me until the end, for the knowledge shared here is not superficial, it is transformative. By the final moment, you will see that public action can become a mirror of inner mastery, a statement of the power that lives quietly within you, waiting to be released. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the modern seeker. Subscribe now and step into a journey where your presence becomes a force and your life a silent lesson to all who watch. Every heartbeat carries a choice: to be scattered, reacting to every gaze and whisper, or to stand grounded, fully aware of this single moment. Presence is the quiet power that precedes action. I am Shi Hengye, and the first secret of mastery is not in the movement nor in the applause, it is in the attention you bring to what is happening right now. In the temples of Shaolin, young monks spend years learning to still the mind. The body moves, the hands strike, the feet step, but every motion is born from total awareness. Awareness is the unseen force that transforms ordinary gestures into expressions of strength, calm, and purpose. Without it, even the most skilled movements scatter like wind through leaves. With it, even a single breath becomes a declaration of mastery. When you step into public, the mind often searches for recognition. It measures eyes, imagines judgment, and seeks the fleeting comfort of approval. Shaolin teaches a different path. The first victory is silence within, the unwavering focus on the present. Each step, each gesture, each breath is offered not to impress, but to embody discipline, clarity, and alignment. This presence carries its own energy, an invisible current that others feel before they even speak. It is magnetic, not because it demands attention, but because it radiates truth. The more fully you inhabit your body, your breath, your intention, the less the world can distract you. Even amid chaos, laughter, or scrutiny, you remain anchored. True performance is not a display, it is a reflection of inner mastery. When you are fully present, you no longer chase approval. The audience fades, the noise dissolves, and all that remains is the quiet, powerful command of your own awareness, steady, unshakable, alive. Discipline is often mistaken for restriction, a cage that confines the spirit. Yet in the quiet halls of Shaolin, it is known as the truest form of freedom. Every monk learns that mastery does not emerge from fleeting inspiration, but from countless repetitions performed in silence, unseen by the world. The strength of a blade is forged in the fire, and so too is the strength of the mind and body, tempered by patient, consistent effort. In private, each movement, each stance, each breath is examined with unwavering attention. The hours spent in solitary training are invisible to the eyes of others, yet they leave an imprint far deeper than any applause could provide. This unseen labor becomes the foundation upon which true freedom is built. Without it, public action is fragile, swayed by distraction, doubt, or the gaze of those who watch. When practice is complete, performing in public is no longer performance at all. Every gesture flows from a place of inner structure. The discipline cultivated in solitude manifests as effortless movement, calm energy, and unwavering focus. There is a paradox here. The more one is bound to routine, to training, to the strict regimen of mind and body, the freer one becomes in the presence of others. Structure in private grants, liberation in public. Ancient wisdom teaches that freedom is not the absence of rules, but the mastery of them. By internalizing discipline, one moves with intention, responds without hesitation, and acts without the pull of ego. The observer sees only fluidity and grace, unaware of the countless hours spent perfecting the unseen. In this way, public action becomes a mirror, reflecting a mind honed by persistence, a spirit tempered by patience, and a body disciplined enough to embody freedom itself. True mastery is quiet, persistent, and invisible until the moment it rises effortlessly, undeniable, into the world. The eyes of others often feel heavier than any weight carried in silence. From birth, the mind measures itself against unseen standards, seeking approval, avoiding disapproval. Fear of judgment becomes a quiet prison, invisible yet binding, whispering that safety lies in hiding, in retreat. Yet the path of mastery asks something different. It asks the courage to be seen. To stand openly in the presence of others is a practice far older than applause or recognition. It is a meditation, a training of the spirit, where each step taken under observation tests the strength of the mind. Shaolin wisdom teaches that fear is not to be denied, but acknowledged. Only by facing it directly does it begin to lose its hold. The first breath, the first gesture, the first motion in public is never about spectacle. It is a deliberate act of daring, a claim over one's own freedom. Each time the body moves while the mind remains steady, the walls of the ego's prison tremble. Small fears dissolve, like mist in the morning sun. What once seemed unbearable becomes ordinary, and resilience grows quietly, imperceptibly, yet irreversibly. The public moment becomes a mirror, reflecting not vanity or desire, but the inner strength that has been cultivated through patient practice. This courage does not demand loudness or recognition. It lives in subtlety, a calm presence, a steady posture, a breath that remains unshaken while the world watches. The more one practices being seen, the less external eyes hold power over the spirit. In this space, performance transforms into presence, observation into insight, and fear into mastery. To embrace visibility is to embrace oneself. Each public act becomes a lesson in humility and strength, a bridge between inner discipline and the world outside. True courage is quiet, consistent, and invisible, yet it is the force that allows the unseen mastery within to shine without compromise. The body is never separate from the mind. Each reflects the other like water mirrors the sky. A single gesture carries the weight of thought, intention, and breath, intertwined in ways often unnoticed by the untrained eye. In the halls of Shaolin, mastery begins with this understanding. Movement is never mechanical. It is a language of presence, a statement of inner alignment. When a monk strikes, steps, or shifts, the mind must lead as surely as the body follows. If thought wavers, hesitation creeps into the motion. If the body resists, the mind becomes restless. Harmony arises when both are fully synchronized, when intention flows naturally into action and action flows naturally back into awareness. This is the subtle alchemy of training, the invisible thread that connects discipline, focus, and the raw energy of life itself. Every breath, every stance, every small motion carries meaning far beyond words. A calm hand, a grounded foot, a steady gaze, all communicate what the mind has cultivated in silence. Observers may not understand the technique, but they feel the precision, the intent, the balance. Shaolin teaches that mastery is felt before it is recognized, and that the body speaking in unison with the mind resonates with truth that words alone cannot convey. Harmonizing body and mind is not instant. It is the product of repeated practice, of returning attention over and over to the present, to the alignment of thought, breath, and motion. Each session becomes a conversation between inner awareness and external expression. Through this union, life itself becomes a series of mindful actions, each step, gesture, and word carrying the quiet authority of balance. True mastery is not in the display of power, but in the seamless flow where mind, body, and spirit move together, fully alive, perfectly attuned, and unmistakably present. True power is quiet. It does not demand attention or seek approval. In public, many confuse presence with ego, thinking that recognition defines mastery. Shaolin wisdom teaches otherwise. Energy is the language of the spirit, a reflection of balance within, not the clamor of the world outside. When one moves with intention, the flow of energy carries far more than pride ever could. A simple gesture, a steady stance, a controlled breath, they ripple outward, touching others in ways that words or display never achieve. Those who watch may feel it, even if they cannot name it. The energy of mastery speaks in resonance, subtle but undeniable. Ego thrives on comparison, on the weight of judgment. It asks, who sees me, who applauds? Energy asks nothing. It moves naturally, following the alignment of body, mind, and spirit. In Shaolin practice, this distinction is drilled into every student. Hours of repetition, meditation, and focus are not for the eyes of the world, but to cultivate the internal currents that cannot be faked or forced. Let presence ripple, not pride. Each action becomes an extension of inner harmony, a living meditation in motion. The more the ego steps aside, the freer the energy becomes, flowing effortlessly through posture, breath, and intention. Observers may notice the strength, but they will feel the balance long before they see the form. Mastery is measured not by recognition, but by the steady, calm current within that guides every movement. The true practitioner understands that energy emanates from discipline, patience, and alignment, and that it is this subtle force, not the applause of others, that carries the weight of true power. In every public act, the body becomes a vessel, the mind a conductor, and the spirit an invisible current, moving quietly yet unmistakably through the world. Every action begins in the mind, long before the body moves. In the quiet moments before stepping into the world, there lies a choice to act blindly, reacting to circumstance, or to move with deliberate purpose. Shaolin teaches that intention is the unseen foundation of mastery. Without it, even the most precise movements remain empty. With it, the simplest act becomes a conduit for energy, focus, and presence. Before any public action, pause. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the breath flowing through your body. Ask yourself, why am I performing? What is this for? These questions are not for the mind to rationalize or the ego to justify. They are a meditation, a ritual that aligns the body, the mind, and the spirit. In that moment, action is no longer merely physical, it becomes a reflection of inner clarity and discipline. Shaolin monks often repeat this ritual silently before training or demonstration. The intention sets the tone, shaping the energy that flows through each movement. Purpose is like a guiding current, steadying the body, calming the mind, and sharpening awareness. Even when the eyes of others are watching, the focus remains inward, anchored in reason and resolve rather than fear or desire for approval. When intention is clear, ordinary actions transform. A simple bow, a step forward, a strike, each carries weight beyond its appearance. Energy flows seamlessly from the inner source, and every gesture becomes a statement of mastery. The world may notice the movement, but the practitioner feels the truth. Purpose, not performance, defines the act. Through this ritual, the public becomes a space not for proving oneself, but for living fully in alignment with the internal order. Each step, each breath, each motion is an offering, a testament to disciplined presence and the quiet power that comes from knowing why one moves before even moving at all. There is a power in stillness that words cannot capture. In the quiet space between movement and thought, truth speaks more clearly than any speech. Shaolin teaches that mastery is often revealed not in action alone, but in the pauses that surround it, in the calm that holds the storm at bay. Silence is not absence, it is presence, alive, deliberate, and profound. In public, the urge to fill every space with sound, explanation, or motion is strong. The mind wants reassurance. The ego wants recognition. Yet true mastery does not need to announce itself. Controlled breath, measured steps, and intentional pauses carry a language that reaches deeper than words ever could. Observers may not understand the technique, yet they feel its resonance. The quiet communicates confidence, balance, and clarity, reflecting the internal mastery cultivated through years of disciplined practice. Every motion in Shaolin practice is part of a greater rhythm. The movement itself matters, but the space between each movement holds equal weight. These gaps are the canvas upon which intention paints. Breath becomes a bridge between body and mind, stillness a vessel for energy to circulate. Meditation in motion is not merely about executing a form, it is about embodying presence so completely that even silence becomes expressive. When the body and mind embrace the quiet, each pause transforms into an instrument of power. The audience senses it, even subconsciously. Every subtle hesitation, every mindful breath signals mastery, grounding, and awareness. The performer becomes both wave and ocean, flowing, yet unshakable, moving yet profoundly still. In this space, silence is not empty, it is alive. It speaks of discipline earned, energy balanced, and presence anchored. The world watches action, but it is stillness that reveals the depth of true mastery, echoing far beyond the reach of words. Chaos is inevitable. The world rarely unfolds according to expectation, and the public stage magnifies this truth. Sounds clash, movements collide, and attention wavers. Yet, within the heart of mastery lies a principle older than any applause flow in adversity. Shaolin teaches that strength is not rigid. It is flexible, responsive, and rooted in awareness. The bamboo bends with the wind, but it does not break. When performing in public, distractions are unavoidable. Eyes watch, judgments linger, and the mind seeks to react. The untrained spirit resists, falters, or becomes consumed by noise. But true mastery reveals itself in stillness amid motion. Adaptability is cultivated through relentless practice, where every unexpected interruption becomes a lesson, every imbalance an opportunity to return to center. The body, mind, and breath align, flowing like water around obstacles rather than smashing against them. Adversity becomes a mirror. Each misstep, each unexpected sound, each wandering gaze tests the depth of discipline and inner calm. The practitioner learns to move without losing presence, to act without clinging to expectation, and to breathe without surrendering to tension. In this space, the public setting is not a threat, it is a teacher, revealing the strength cultivated behind closed doors. The mastery of flow is subtle. It is in the pause that recalibrates, the step that adjusts naturally, the breath that restores clarity. Calmness in chaos signals the mind's sovereignty over circumstance. Observers may notice the smoothness of motion or the grace of response, but they cannot perceive the silent mastery beneath it. Years of practice, repetition, and meditation shaping the ability to bend without breaking. Through adversity, the internal becomes external. True presence is proven not when conditions are perfect, but when disruption is met with composure, resilience, and unwavering awareness, a living demonstration of inner mastery made visible to the world. The outer world is a reflection of the inner. Every gesture, every breath, every subtle shift in posture reveals the state of the mind and spirit. Shaolin wisdom teaches that mastery begins within. The calm, strength, and balance cultivated in solitude inevitably ripple outward, shaping the space around you. When the internal is aligned, the external acts become living mirrors, reflecting discipline, focus, and presence. In public, the temptation to impress or control perception is strong. Yet true mastery does not seek to influence others. It emanates naturally, silently from a centered core. When actions are rooted in calm, strength, and compassion, they carry a resonance beyond words. Observers may not consciously recognize the origin, but they feel it nonetheless, a steady presence that commands attention without demanding it, a quiet authority that draws respect and acknowledgement effortlessly. Each act performed from internal alignment becomes a subtle lesson for those who watch. Shaolin masters often remind students that public demonstration is not merely display but teaching. Even without instruction, the energy, intention, and discipline expressed through movement communicate deeper truths. Every stance, every motion, every pause mirrors the inner state, conveying courage, patience, and integrity to those perceptive enough to feel it. This reflection is continuous. Internal states shift, and with them, the outward expression transforms. Mastery is measured not by applause or recognition, but by the degree to which the external world mirrors the internal harmony. When the mind is calm, the body moves fluidly. When the spirit is strong, every action exudes quiet confidence. Compassion guides intention, softening rigidity and allowing energy to flow naturally. Public performance, therefore, is not performance at all. It is the silent manifestation of the self, an unspoken teaching, a living reflection, a demonstration that mastery begins within and radiates outward, touching others without effort, judgment, or expectation. The act is complete, but the lesson continues. Every movement, every breath, every gesture in public carries a ripple that extends beyond the moment it is made. Shaolin teaches that mastery does not end when the body stops, it begins again in reflection. To observe oneself after action is to open the door to true growth. Sit quietly, breathe, and ask, how did I respond to fear, to distraction, to the gaze of others? Did tension rise or did calm remain? Did the mind wander or did attention stay anchored in the present? These questions are not for self-criticism. They are instruments for insight. Observation without judgment transforms each experience into knowledge, each misstep into guidance, and each success into confirmation of inner alignment. Every public act becomes a feedback loop. The body reveals what the mind cannot yet see. The mind reveals what the spirit has yet to understand. Shaolin mastery is continuous, flowing like a river, never stagnant. The performance is temporary, but the understanding it generates shapes every subsequent movement, every future breath, every step forward on the path of discipline. This reflection requires patience. It demands honesty and presence, a willingness to confront subtle truths about oneself without clinging or resisting. The subtle tremors of fear, the pull of ego, the flutter of distraction, these are all teachers. By observing them calmly, without judgment, the practitioner strengthens awareness, deepens discipline, and nurtures resilience. Over time, this cycle of action and reflection transforms ordinary practice into wisdom. Each public display becomes more than demonstration. It becomes a mirror, a laboratory, a silent dialogue between the self and the world. Mastery is not a fixed point but a living process, revealed in the continuous integration of experience, observation, and mindful growth. True mastery is never about showmanship. It is the calm, disciplined presence that radiates from within, the courage to face fear, and the clarity of awareness in every action. Shaolin and mindfulness remind us that the world outside is only a stage. The real performance unfolds in the heart, in the mind, and in the spirit. When each movement is guided by intention, when presence is steady, and when the heart is aligned with purpose, even the simplest actions carry profound meaning. The lessons of discipline, courage, and mindful awareness are not meant to remain in temples or stories. They are meant to be lived, applied in daily life, and reflected quietly through every choice you make. Carry this practice into each day. Observe your thoughts, steady your breath, act with clarity, and meet challenges with calm. Let your actions, no matter how small, mirror the inner harmony you cultivate. The ripple of your presence will reach further than you realize, teaching and inspiring silently, simply by being. Step into each day as a reflection of your mastery, letting inner balance guide the outer world. And as your journey continues, remember that the quiet power within is always stronger than any external force. If this message resonates, join our community of seekers. Like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the path of modern mastery. May your presence be steady, your heart aligned, and your life a living expression of purpose and calm.